They see each other, they fall in love. There may or may not be circumstances keeping them apart, but it doesn't matter because they're gonna fuck. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cheap Smut. My name is Katie Mizell.
And my name is Carl Mizell.
And this is a podcast about porn. This week it is about porn.
But it's fancy porn because it's words.
Yeah, because it's 90 pages instead of like 7 minutes
shit.
or something.
90 pages?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's not entirely porn.
No, but I'm more commenting on the fact that it's only 90 pages.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I got no issue with that.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm actually thinking of doing at least one of these a month, if not two. Like, big novel, novella, big novel, novella.
Smart.
Because A, I love these novellas,
Mm-hmm.
and there's not a lot of room in my reading schedule for them when I'm doing a big book every week. And B, it gives me a break from the big feelings of the big books to just read quick and dirty.
Yep. And you can slot these in around bigger books.
Yes. Yeah, I can read them. I can have a backlog of notes ready to just go if I don't feel like doing anything but doing a novella one week.
Exactly.
So yeah.
But enough about that bullshit.
Yeah.
How are you?
Well, I'm all right. As you know, our youngest child is sick. She just randomly popped a fever today.
Yeah, it was really
Pretty
weird.
high one even, and she was crabby and tired, but had no other symptoms. So I don't know what's wrong with her.
And radiating heat.
Yes, and we are preparing to go. If you're from Michigan, you will understand the phrase "up north." We're preparing to go on vacation over the weekend to a lake house with my cousins, and now she might not get to go, and that's sad. But
otherwise, she'll get to hang out with Daddy all weekend.
Yeah, she will
so
have a daddy weekend. It'll be great.
How cool will that be? And you and the boy will get to go up and play with the cousins. And
Yeah, I mean, there are no losers in this
no.
situation. It's just kind of
It's
sad
just a
that she
bummer.
might not be able to go. You know,
Yeah.
but she is 2, so it's not like she's gonna remember not being able to go.
will not be a core memory for her.
No, not at all.
No.
I mean, the core memory will probably be hanging out with Daddy and watching Blippi for days on end while she eats popsicles. She'll be happy as a clam.
She'll be watching Blippi in the den while Daddy's speed
running
running
Hades.
Yeah. That's what I've been up to.
Yeah.
Speed running Hades. I played Hades for over 220 hours, and I loved watching speed runs, and I was like, I would love to do that one day. And then I was like, 20-minute run, that's pretty good. And I started learning a little bit about the speed running strategies and got it down to a sub 15, and then just got it down to a 13, something like sub 14. So,
Well, geez, ow. Good for you.
no, the world record's 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
5 minutes and 5 seconds for
5 minutes from start to finish?
Well, what they call in-game time.
Oh, okay.
So, like, it does pause when you're picking boons
Right,
and stuff
yeah.
like that. But,
Yeah, but
active
still, though.
game time, 5
Yeah,
minutes and 5
that's
seconds.
fucking bananas.
I know. I feel like I am just like, just like the Flash, like when they show the Flash in any iteration just running. Like,
Yeah.
I'm feeling like that, and I'm going at a 13, 14-minute pace. Speaking of quick and just doing something real quick and dirty,
Yeah.
what are we reading this week?
Okay. This week, I read a book called Stepbrother Summer.
Well,
Yeah, by Olivia T. Turner. Yeah.
You mentioned the name of that book the first time, and this is one of those things that I do where I completely forget something existed. And then when I'm told about it again, it's like I'm discovering a joy all over again. I did the same thing with digital deposits of checks.
Yeah,
remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, digital deposits exist.
I was like, I'm going to have to drive all the way over to Flint to our credit union and deposit this because I can't deposit it in any credit union around here. But no, to the app.
To the app we go.
Stepbrother Summer.
That's what I said.
All right.
Stepbrother Summer. Step sibling porn is not just a thing that exists in the visual world, in the visual medium.
Yeah.
It's also a very common taboo trope in books, but especially in your short form novellas, because we're not here for feelings. We're reading porn. Like, there are feelings, but they're really fast porn feelings.
I would love to try and do a little bit of research into it. It feels like there's a line of demarcation in society before step sibling porn was a thing and then after like BCE, CE. Like I feel like that's the modern equivalent.
Yeah.
It just showed up and it was everywhere. And I can't remember a time when it wasn't, and I couldn't pinpoint when it started.
I have no idea. Honestly, I mean, if I had to take the most basic of guesses based on just what I know about our history as a society, we really truly came down on the genetic consequences of fucking your own family members. Like maybe 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And from then on, we made it a point to make sure everybody knew you weren't allowed to fuck your siblings. And now, like, the closest we'll get is step siblings.
Yeah. They've just been inching away from that until they go, huh? What about adopted? Oh, adoption? No. Step. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's do that. And what's funny is if you're watching it, there's no indication that there's anything going on if you have the audio. It just looks like two people fucking. They have to audibly say,
yeah, what are you doing, step sis?
Stop that, stepbrother.
Seriously.
If you watch it on mute.
And it's like the most absurd, not all, usually it's just like, it's two people fucking and they put stepsister in the title.
Exactly. They never once mention any connection.
But there's always like, not always, there are sometimes like really ridiculous situations that lead up to that. But my favorite is being stuck in a dryer or stuck under a bed or stuck under a coffee table, all of which are things you cannot get stuck in physically. Yeah. I mean, at least not when you have the body of a standard porn star.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like me getting stuck halfway under a bed because I'm a size 18 and I have wide hips.
Yeah.
It's just, you know.
And for the record, I would just help you.
I know you would. Because we're not in a porn. We're not actively in a porn. I don't think any sane person would look at someone stuck somewhere with their ass out and go, now's the time to stick my hand in their pussy. Like, that's not going to happen.
I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that.
I don't know what you were expecting either, but
anyway.
I'm happy to make you laugh.
So how much is this 90-page fuck fest?
It's $2.99.
Okay.
It is part of the larger Flirty Dirty Summer series, which is like just a collection of these novellas by 14 different authors, 14 different novellas. Each one is $2.99 or less on Kindle or available through Kindle Unlimited, which is what I got it for. These kind of collections are very, very common because, like I said, it is a romance novel and it belongs in the genre, but it's not a romance novel.
No,
it's porn.
Yeah.
It'll take you a couple hours to read it and it's fucking filthy. It's porn. It's great.
Yeah.
It belongs here with all the rest of the stuff. Absolutely. It's just a different type of romance novel and they're just as good, but sometimes people
It belongs in a museum. Sorry, I just wanted to say that.
Sometimes people can be a little bit, I don't know, judgy.
No.
Of this kind of book. I know, right? People, judgmental. What?
First time hearing of this.
Ugh. Anyway, so yeah. So
okay.
These kind of collections are very common. I've read so many of them. Like I said, sometimes I'm just consuming porn for the sake of porn. Yeah. But there's a little bit of plot in it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when they tried to brand visual, like porn for women, quote unquote. Right. Like we can't just like porn without it having to be special.
Yeah. 14 different authors or one person that's good at coming up with 14 different names.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I would have to read them all, but usually if you read a few in a series, you can tell that they're different writing styles and
similar voices.
Yeah, similar voices, but they're not the same. They all have their own specific little quirks. This is also a great way to find authors that you want to look into further. Is just like last year, and I'm going to do it again this year, so everybody just be really prepared right now when the holidays start. We're reading holiday themed porn only for like the entire months of November and December because it's too busy for me to read full books. Last year I read an entire series of Christmas themed novellas like this, like I think they were even Santa themed, and they were great. It was so good.
Christmas might only come once a year, but Santa, boy, Santa gets down. Any content warnings for this episode?
Step siblings fucking a lot. Not even a lot. Step siblings fucking. Honestly, my biggest concern with this whole book, capitalism and wealth.
That actually should be a content warning.
It is. It should be. It should be a content warning, and it is. So capitalism and wealth, those are my content warnings for you. If you fucking hate money and the concept of the Hamptons, do not read this book.
You're going to read this book, and then at the end, you're going to be like, wow, I didn't even realize that while I was reading this book, I built a guillotine.
Yeah, absolutely. You said guillotine, which just reminded me to show you a video later of the Top Gear guys trebucheting a car across the French border.
Yes.
It flew so far. I was like, no.
I want to
And
stop the record to just go watch it.
It was great.
But anyway, let's just blow through this, and then we can do that.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it after we smoke.
So our FMC this week is named Becca. Becca is headed to a month in the Hamptons with her father, Kevin.
I hate her already.
With whom she has a very strong relationship. She has a very strong relationship with her dad. There's no childhood trauma here, especially after the loss of her mother. Her mother died 5 years ago in a car accident. They are staying with her new stepmom in her fancy Hamptons beach house. So
Kevin married up.
Yeah, well, no. Kevin married laterally.
Oh, laterally.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Kevin is the CEO of stepmom's chemical engineering company.
Boo.
They had a fling, and apparently they got surprise married in Paris or something, and came home and were like, "We got hitched."
Oh, it was a surprise to everybody else, not them.
No, not to them. Then they're deeply in love.
Shit. I woke up with wedding rings on.
Becca has only met her new stepmom a couple of times.
Okay.
And she has never met her new stepbrother.
Oh, but she's about to. I get the feeling.
Yeah, whose name is Ollie. Ollie is going into his last year of his master's in chemical engineering at MIT. So he's also a fucking genius to boot. Go figure. So Becca and Kevin kind of chat while they're on the road, just catching up. Nothing really happens nothing of depth happens in this book at all. Let's be very clear. We're surface level only. We love that for us.
But I need to know something. So Kevin is the CEO
Yes.
of this company.
Yes.
And he had a fling
Yeah.
with
The owner.
that seems unethical?
I don't know.
I mean, anyway.
I don't know.
Please continue.
So they're just having a chat. Kevin is talking about Ollie and his wife, whose name I can't remember right now, but I want to say Cindy. Anyway, as they're talking, they're like driving further and further up the nicest part of the Hamptons, wherever that is. I don't know. I've never been to the Hamptons.
The part of the Hamptons where they can look down on the other residents of
Seriously,
the Hamptons.
okay. So every time I hear the word Hamptons, I think of. Do you remember the show Royal Pains?
I do.
All right, so that show was about a concierge doctor in the Hamptons. It was set in the Hamptons, I believe. And I remember from like the first episode, him and his like scheming brother drive into town, and they're at a stoplight. They're trying to pretend to be rich. They're trying to pretend to blend in. They're at a stoplight in a convertible, and then another convertible full of really hot girls pulls up, and the brother tries to start chatting them up, and they're like, "Which Hampton are you going to?" And he says, West Hampton. We're going to West Hampton. And she goes, "You mean Worst Hampton?" And then they just laugh and drive away.
Yeah.
That's what I think of when I think of the Hamptons. That specific moment in one television show, I'm like, oh, it's garbage. It's trash.
It wouldn't surprise me.
It's full of trash, rich, white people. I don't want to be there. I'm sure it's more than that, but it's all I think about. Anyway, so they're driving further and further up the nicest part of Hampton Beach, and Kevin is explaining that his new wife is not just the owner of this bioengineering company. She also made a lot of like really solid investments, and so she's not just rich, she's fucking wealthy independently, and we love an independently wealthy woman.
Yeah, she's got that Oprah money.
She made all her own money, and that's great.
Yeah.
But I still don't vibe with rich people. They get there, and it is like the biggest fucking house you've ever seen, directly on the beach, right on the water. And Becca's losing her shit. She's like, what the fuck? What the fuck did you, where am I? What is this place? What did you marry into?
Yeah.
Like, they had money before, but now they got fuck off money.
Yeah, he was like, let me give you a little exposition as we drive up this driveway to explain the size of this house.
Yeah. I mean, it's fairly, in books like this, it is fairly common to be like wealthy, or for the concept of money to not exist to you in whatever capacity. We're just eliminating obstacles, right?
Yeah.
So nobody has to care about money or capitalism or, you know, the slowly dying planet right now, because we're in our little porn bubble.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they get inside this fucking huge mansion. They grab a couple beers, they put on their swimsuits, and they go out to the beach where Ollie and his mother are already waiting for them. On the beach, Becca sees a book boyfriend. Like, mega hot book boyfriend, tattoo, like full sleeves of tattoos down both arms, dark hair, gray eyes, like 27 abs, you know, whatever, the whole thing. And he's like in the surf playing football with a kid, and he like falls into the surf, and he just stands up and he's all drippy, you know?
And he's like, oh my God, can you believe I just cured cancer? It's so weird that I just cured cancer. Quick, I gotta go save these orphans.
And he just stands up with this, you know, the perfect smile, the whole shebang. And Becca's drooling, absolutely drooling. And he's staring at her, and she's like, oh, good, maybe I can have like a great beach fling this summer. It'll be so much fun to just have a fling in the Hamptons. But oh no, that's her new stepbrother, Ollie.
Womp, womp, womp.
So they are, Deborah, that's her name. Ollie's mom's name is Deborah. New stepmom's name is Deborah. So they're introduced. Ollie and Becca are introduced to each other, and then they head over to talk to Deborah. Deborah and Kevin are obviously very, very in love and very, very happy. Ollie is obviously very, very horned up for Becca already. Like, seriously, I don't think he says a single thing to her that isn't an innuendo or a double entendre the entire book.
Yeah. She can probably already tell, though, because he's wearing a swimsuit, so she can probably see the comically large erection.
The comically large erection that is obviously coming. Yes. Yeah, she can see it. So,
Oh, I was kidding.
No, she can't actually see the erection, but that's some book miracle, because I think he even says, like, I've been hard for her since the day, like the second I saw her. Sir, you were in a bathing suit.
Yeah.
Where did you hide that?
You were playing not near a child.
And Becca is just as horny for him, and she's like, oh no, what am I gonna do? So Deborah and Kevin go back to the house. They are newlyweds. They haven't seen each other in 3 whole days. And Ollie and Becca go to like stand in the ocean. They just like have a chat while they stand in the ocean.
Yeah.
He lays on the flirtation so fucking thick at this point. I just wrote, I go after what I want, no matter if it's easy or hard, right or wrong. I don't care what anyone thinks. Just
he's the alpha fuck
Jesus
boy.
Jesus Christ.
The alpha and the omega
Oliver,
fuck boy.
I assume, or just Ollie, whatever. He basically tells her that like it's a massive house. They'll never even know.
He's just going right for it.
No, he's seriously. He just begins the flirtation.
Hey, this book's only 90 pages long, so
yeah.
Let's get this thing going.
This is also what is called an insta-love book, meaning we don't have to build feelings; they just exist, which is great.
Convenient.
Yeah, it really is. He also, for a little bit, talks about how he's really excited to be done with school. He really wants to get into the labs at Deborah's company. He wants to work in the R&D department and make a name for himself as a biochemical engineer or something fucking crazy like that. Becca, on the other hand, is currently hiding the fact that she lost her job right before she came up north. Yeah. For the summer. She got fired because she was working as a headhunter and hadn't hunted a single head in like 8 months. So
yeah, that will happen.
Yeah, it will. So they get to know each other, but Becca asks if they could go back to the house because she doesn't like the ocean because she is terrified of sharks. She just doesn't like the idea of being in a body of water where sharks live.
Even if they're not within several miles, this water touches that water.
Yeah.
So let's get the fuck out of here.
Which, you know what? Fair.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in the ocean. You don't want to be in the ocean. The ocean is a fucking terrifying place. We were literally just talking about it a few minutes ago.
Literally.
The ocean is beautiful, but I don't want to know what's going on underneath it. That's for the ocean to know.
Yep.
It's not my business.
Yep.
I'm from Michigan. We have lakes.
Yes.
Okay.
And those are pretty safe.
Yeah, they're pretty safe because most things in there won't eat you.
Most things.
Most things won't eat you. There isn't like a layer at which point we have no fucking clue what's going on below that point. Like the ocean, you get down far enough and we're just like, we don't know. We don't know because we can't get down there.
You know, a big ass like muskie might brush up against your leg or something, but then you just piss yourself and run.
I mean, the worst you have to fear from most of the lakes is the mosquito population, not anything that's actually in the water.
No.
So they head back up to the house and they get in the pool instead because there's also like an infinity pool that's right. Like if you look at it just right, it looks like you're swimming into the ocean, that kind of thing. So back at the house, Ollie is just watching Becca get out of the pool. Slow motion, water dripping, play the music, whatever that fucking movie was.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Just Phoebe Cates it up.
Yep, exactly. And he's just staring at her, like he's staring a hole in her. And his inner monologue is like an equal combination of, I want her so bad that my dick is on fire. And, no, she's my new stepsister. I can't. But
well, at least he tried to pump the brakes.
Ultimately, like, the dick is going to win the battle. We all know. Yeah. Like, sometimes I read these books and I'm like, why are we manufacturing reasons to not just start fucking right now?
Yeah.
This is porn. Give me the porn. Anyway.
A hard dick has no conscience.
And then he thinks that he wants to lose his virginity to her. Oh, and earlier she also thought that she wanted to lose her virginity to him. These are two people who are over the age of 21 who are both virgins. Just keep that in mind.
And apparently extremely attractive.
Yes, extremely attractive. I'm not saying you can be a virgin your whole fucking life. I do not care. I think the concept virginity is stupid.
Agreed.
But just keep it in mind for later.
Got it.
So they continue with their flirty banter. Ollie knows that his body looks good and he makes it look good for her. When their parents finally come back after a couple of hours, they're like, thanks for helping me fix the garage door, Kevin. No problem, Deborah. And Ollie's just like, we know you guys were fucking. We don't care. You're grown-ups and you're married. Who gives a shit? They all decide to go to dinner at like a local seafood restaurant on the beach. But after the parents leave to go get ready, Ollie suggests that they leave the newlyweds to their like romantic dinner by themselves so that they can go see the quote unquote real Hamptons.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what the real Hamptons is, but
if you know, you know.
I just read my own notes and made myself laugh. I have no idea what that means, but I assume it has something to do with rich twats drinking Trulies and being awful.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That night, Becca chooses to wear her sexiest dress to the family dinner. She bought it on a daring whim, but apparently it was meant for Ollie. And she's just been saving it. Their parents take the car, but Ollie has suggested that he bring Becca on his motorcycle, which is, of course, a thing that he has.
Of course he does.
This is a semi-orgasmic experience for Becca when she puts her arms around him. She holds on. Oh my God, I forgot about this part. She holds on to his torso. She gets a handful of his abs and her pussy throbs in approval. Those are words that were in that book.
Listen, as somebody who at one point in my life had abs, if you're sitting on a motorcycle, you're kind of bent over. You're not gonna feel an ab.
Not unless he is doing that clench.
Yeah, and he's vacuum posing and clenching while. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's fine. It's fine. These are not real people, or this is not the real world. I just got stuck on.
Just love the idea.
My pussy throbbed in approval.
Hey.
What?
Hey.
What?
That thing you just my pussy just throbbed in approval.
Oh my God.
I was just changing out the garbage disposal, ma'am.
I don't know what it is. Like that same phrase in reverse also exists. Like my dick throbbed in approval, or my dick jumped in approval of something that someone did. And I'm just like, why are your genitals approving of anything?
Why are we giving sentience to our genitals?
Why are we doing this? Like Caesar's dick throbbing before he decides to kill someone in the Colosseum. What the fuck? Anyway, once they hit the road on the motorcycle, they separate from their parents with they just a text message. They're just we surprise, have a good time at dinner, blah, blah, blah. And they go to a bar where a sweaty bank manager tries to hit on Becca, but Ollie threatens him. Banker guy also spills Becca's drink on her, and Ollie grabs him by the throat and tells him to not just leave the bar, but leave the county.
Okay. Did her pussy throb in approval for this too?
Just tells him to leave the county, or he will rip his face off and feed him to sharks or whatever. And then I just wrote, he's problematic because this is porn. I even put little music notes in there so I know it's a song.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's problematic. This whole thing is problematic, obviously, but we're not here for real stories.
We are not.
Becca is so turned on, she wishes she were back with their parents where she wouldn't make the decision she's about to make. But it's too late, and he is too hot, and she is too horny. Basically, that entire sequence, she was like, oh my God, I can't. He's my stepbrother, and I can't. I wish we were back home with my parents where I couldn't be publicly horny, but I'm not with my parents, and I am publicly horny right now.
Well, guess I'm gonna fuck him.
Yeah. This whole book, she just vacillates back and forth between wanting to fuck him more than anything in the world and being ashamed that he is her stepbrother and thinking that she shouldn't do this. So after this whole ordeal with the sweaty banker guy, they wind up at a club where they both run into friends from the city who are there vacationing for the week. Becca's friend Naomi attempts to seduce Ollie, but he is a literal brick wall. He doesn't even talk to her. He's just babe, do you want to go to the dance floor now? That's, I don't know. He doesn't call her babe because Becca introduces Ollie to Naomi as her new stepbrother. So
Naomi thinks
Naomi knows that they are related by marriage, but he does ask her to dance, or she asks him to dance. Somebody asks somebody to dance, and they go out to the dance floor, and they find the most secluded, horniest fucking corner of this dance floor, and they basically simulate sex with their clothes on, and then they
this is Naomi and Ollie?
No, Becca and
Ollie. Okay.
And they eventually make out. Becca then, once they're done with the making out part, Becca argues that this is wrong and they would upset their parents if they ever found out. But Ollie argues that they both know that they felt the spark and that they are meant to be, so why fight it? He's just I am in love with you. From the moment I saw you, you are the one, right?
Yeah.
And Becca doesn't know what to do with this declaration, so she just starts kissing him again.
That's what I do when I'm confused.
Why not?
I just kiss whoever's in front of me.
Please don't ever be confused outside of our home ever again.
Sorry, officer, you panicked me. You're not gonna arrest
Local
me.
man arrested for trying to make out with a bird.
It startled me.
Birds aren't real.
I tried to kiss it to prove a point.
It's a government drone.
Now I have bird flu too.
It bit me on the face. Becca eventually notices that in all of their horned up making out, rubbing against each other on the dance floor, they are being gaped at by Naomi.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I want to go home. So they go home.
Yeah, you know that friend of mine who I told that you were my stepbrother?
Yeah.
She's unsurprisingly watching us right now.
And very confused. Yeah. So they go home. At 3 a.m., Becca cannot sleep. Our cat is being so fucking cute with Carl right now. Oh my God. Bonnie, what are you doing? Sweet baby. Okay,
At 3 a.m.
At 3 a.m., Becca can't sleep. She's tossing and turning, and she hears a splash in the pool that's right outside her. She has lanai doors that lead right out from her bedroom to the pool.
She didn't think it was her pussy.
Splashing?
Just, she woke up from a dream about Ollie, just so horned up.
No. She looks out of her door to see Ollie swimming naked in the pool. And she decides that the most opportune thing to do right now is to voyeuristically watch him climb out of the pool while she fucks herself with a dildo.
Okay.
Until she eventually comes, but she's too loud, and Ollie notices. So she like flings herself into bed. All of that, the hearing him jump into the pool, getting the dildo, having the orgasm, and flopping into the bed happens in like a minute and a half. I swear to God, like in real time. All he does is dive in, climb out, walk around the edge of the pool.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's enough time for her to have like a bone cruncher of an orgasm. It's absolutely insane. The next morning, Ollie wakes her up. He comes into her room and wakes her up and tells her that they're going out on the boat today. Because, of course, they're rich and they live in the Hamptons, so they have a fucking boat. While he's rifling through her drawers, he's like, where are your swimsuits? And he just starts going through her drawers like a fucking crazy person. He finds her dildo, realizes that she was fiddling last night and that he did hear her while he was swimming. And he tells her next time to just come find him instead. Why waste your time with the dildo?
Because it's not my stepbrother. you degenerate.
She finally like gets him to leave by just threatening to scream. Just like, get out of my room or I start screaming. These people are in their early 20s. I can't even. I'm so old.
And virgins.
And virgins, yeah. On the boat later, Ollie continues with his flirtation. The parents are completely oblivious to this. How? I don't know, because he's literally saying shit that sounds like it would make me blush to hear someone say that to another person. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? You're in public right now.
Hey, Kevin, I'm going to fuck your daughter.
He would too.
You
He
cool
would
with
if
that?
he thought he
You
could get
cool with
away
that,
with it.
Mom?
He'd just say, Deborah.
He calls her Deborah.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy that calls his mom Deborah.
Hey, Deb. I'm going to fuck your new stepdaughter.
I see what I want and I go after it, even if I'm sort of related to it.
Yeah. In an attempt to escape what is happening with Ollie, Becca just dives into the ocean. Like, she hates the ocean and she's terrified of it.
Goodbye. Splash.
But she just runs off the side of the boat and just dives in. She stays under for as long as she can, and she just swims as far away from the boat as possible. And when she gets out of, like, she pops up out of the water, everyone on the boat is screaming at her, and she can't figure out why until she hears them shouting that there is a fucking shark in the water right now.
We're rich.
You know that
sharks over.
You know that thing you're terrified of, that we would never probably run into otherwise. So she has a panic attack and she doesn't know what to do. She can't see the shark anywhere. Like, she can't see the fin or anything. She has to take their word for it. But by the end of the scene, I was like, there was no fucking shark in that water. There was nothing. Anyway, and because she's freaking out and she doesn't know what to do, Ollie dives in and drags her back to the boat and saves her life. Quote unquote.
Yeah.
Saves her life. Was there ever really a shark? We don't know. But they certainly thought that there was a shark. And Becca is so grateful. She knows that her crush on Ollie is never going to go away now because he saved her from the shark.
It was they thought it was a shark. It was actually it was a poor person.
It was a poor person in the water.
We think that poor people are just as bad as sharks.
Oh my God. Oh,
anyway.
The rich are awful. Anyway, and that they have a special connection. She and Ollie have a special connection, and there's no use in denying it. So
yeah, it's called being related by marriage.
So it is time to bone. It's time to bone.
Here we go.
Tonight, they're going to bone. That night, Ollie is getting ready for dinner. Their mom has hired
Ina Garten.
a chef to do a meal in their home.
Gotcha.
When Deborah comes into the room and tells Ollie that there has been some kind of chemical spill at the lab and that both she and Kevin have to go immediately by helicopter.
Yeah.
To oversee the cleanup and the fallout, because a chemical spill of this nature apparently requires the government. Okay, probably yes, does require the government to get involved.
I just need you to know that in my head, the company that she owns is the Umbrella Corporation. And this all takes place in the Resident Evil universe.
Yep. They're not from New York. They're from Raccoon City.
That's right.
So Ollie expresses concern. Like, he doesn't want anything bad to happen to the people who work for his mother, but he's also secretly just like fist pumping so hard he dislocates a fucking elbow.
Gonna get my dick.
He goes to get Becca for dinner. He has told the chef to just prepare dinner for 2 instead of dinner for 4 and set it up by the pool. And the chef has left and Ollie's ready and he's going to go get Becca, and she is immediately freaking out. First, she doesn't want to come out of her room at all. And he's like, well, I came in this morning. I'll come in again.
Yeah.
So she opens the door and she lays down some ground rules. In the audio medium, you can't hear the eye roll that I just did.
I think they could.
So, rule number 1, no kissing. Rule number 2, no dirty talk. Rule number 3, no funny business. Rule number 4, no more late night skinny dipping. Those are Becca's rules.
I need to know.
To survive the summer.
What is funny business?
I don't fucking know. She didn't define it any more than I did just now.
That's the that is like the relationship equivalent of and other responsibilities as determined by leadership.
Exactly.
Whatever I say is funny business.
If I tell you just stop, yes, if I tell you to stop, you should just stop. That's just like the way it should go. But by funny business, I think she just means anything that makes her horny.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
No doing anything that makes me horny.
Yeah. What
Oliver.
did I do? You're existing.
Go away. So these rules are, of course, going to be completely ignored.
Yeah.
But it's just another. She's flip-flopping back and forth between needing to fuck this man immediately and needing to remember that he is her stepbrother now, and she can't do that. I don't know. Whatever. So they go to dinner. Ollie does not let up half a fucking centimeter. He keeps on laying on the flirtation just as thick as he possibly can. They eventually just eat and start talking, and things are going well. It's a very nice conversation. They actually get along when he's not just trying to get in her pants. And they end up ending their conversation by deciding that they're going to watch Dirty Dancing after dinner because it is Ollie's favorite movie.
All right.
I mean, good choice. It's a great movie.
It's the most humanizing thing about him so far.
Yeah. I realized something actually fairly recently about Dirty Dancing, not to go off on another tangent, but why not? It's my show. Jerry Orbach's character is a doctor. Yep. And the heaviest scene in that movie, he saves a woman who is dying from a back alley abortion.
I was going to say, I think sepsis is something like
she
went septic. I think.
Something truly awful that happened from an unregulated abortion. Yeah. And at the time that I first watched that movie, not the first time because I was too young the first time to understand what was going on, but by the time I was old enough to understand, I was like, oh my God, the 80s must have been so awful. Because you just couldn't go to a doctor and get an abortion. And now I realize, A, that's truer than I realized, even after Roe. But B, that was probably a really fucking subversive scene in that movie.
Oh, it absolutely was.
And it wasn't to me.
No, but also I think that movie was actually set.
It was probably set in the 60s.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it was set further back. Let's it's not important. I'll look it up for my own edification. But anyway, I realized like 2 weeks ago, holy shit, the abortion subplot in Dirty Dancing was probably incredibly politically tense at the time. I just didn't realize it because I watched it in like 1995. Yeah, I watched it when it came out when I was like 9. But again, as I've said to you many, many times, my mom was not at all.
I don't even think that movie would be a terrible thing to show a 10-year-old.
No,
but
I was like, what's wrong with her? Oh, she had a bad abortion. What's an abortion? It's this. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Because guess what? Kids, you don't tell kids about the horrible things and then their heads explode. It doesn't happen. But anyway. No. Also, it was set in 1963.
Okay. Yeah, no, kids, you just tell them. They ask a question and you tell them the answer. Yep. You don't give any moral, like, blah, blah, along with it. You just tell them. Anyway. I'm not going to tell you how to parent your kids. That's not the kind of podcast this is. Anyway, after they watch Dirty Dancing, Becca goes to bed, but she can't sleep. Worrying about going back to the city with no job, worrying about the fact that she's got the horn for her stepbrother really bad. And then she hears the splash, and she knows that Ollie is out there skinny dipping. And she reasons to herself, well, what good are rules if no one is going to enforce those rules? So she goes out to the pool deck to, I guess, scold him, lecture him. The rules. I don't know. Enforce the rules. She tells Ollie that there is no skinny dipping, and that is a rule, and she is here to enforce the rules. And obviously, what is the solution? He just hauls himself naked out of the fucking water, Fast Time style, but for a guy, just right off of the right out of the pool onto the pool deck, dripping wet, fully naked. My notes say in the way that only looks good in movies.
Yeah.
And he's now standing naked and wet on the pool deck. Becca immediately caves into the, quote, inevitability, unquote, of fucking Ollie. She knows it's going to happen, and she figures, why waste time? Yeah, same fucking question to you, Miss 4 Rules and 6 chapters.
Yeah, this 90-page novella could have been 75 if you hadn't just flip-flopped.
It could have been 12. She could have walked out to that beach and just fucked him in the dirt.
It could have been an email.
This could have been a snap. Anyway, in a moment of bravery, then she strips and jumps into the pool, and he follows right after her, and I'm not going to make that joke. It begins. Begin the fucking.
Unleash the fucking.
They fuck as only 2 insta-love versions in a porn book can. Ollie hauls Becca onto the pool edge and eats her out until she's grinding against his face. Becca then pulls Ollie to a chair and blows him in a naughty, tear-streaming performance. I was like, okay, so we haven't clarified how much oral either of these people has given. From this point on, these are virgins having porn-level sex, having really good, no communication necessary, everybody wins porn sex.
Yep.
And it's fiction.
It's fiction.
It's fiction.
Fictional characters.
After he comes down her throat, she keeps on playing with his cock, and he's immediately hard again.
Again, virgins. Her first, possibly her first, or one of her first, and he's just like, "Yep, gonna come right down your throat."
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
Anyway,
so he carries her inside, and they have penetrative, penile, vaginal sex.
P2B.
Yep. Emphasis on her virginity being lost and how big his dick is are the 2 big things that happen in this scene.
Do we have any comical, uncomfortable descriptions of this cock?
No.
Do we just know it's just large?
So, from like Becca's thoughts, it's like, oh my God, it's huge. I don't even know what to do with it.
But again,
now having said that, what is big to Becca?
Yeah, virgin.
She's a virgin. For all I know, it's a standard issue penis.
Yep.
But it's huge, quote unquote. Everybody comes. Everybody has a good time. At the end, it's Ollie's internal monologue, and there's a very heavy emphasis on like breeding and wanting to come inside of her and wanting to make her pregnant and knowing that neither one of them are protected and like the whole shebang. Thankfully, he does not say any of this out loud, because if he did, I would be like, get off of me.
Yeah, seriously.
What are you doing right now? Why are you telling me you want to breed me? What the fuck? Instead, they just have a good time. And that's the end of that scene. They fuck like wild animals, and then they fall asleep. 2 weeks later, 2 weeks of debauchery later, Ollie and Becca are enjoying topless drinks in the hot tub. And suddenly there is a helicopter descending onto the lawn. So their parents have been gone for 2 weeks, handling this chemical spill and the fallout from the chemical spill.
Okay.
Your face. 2 weeks? What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah.
2 weeks later.
Exactly. Becca has just enough time to get her clothes back on before the helicopter literally just lands on the lawn and their parents get out.
Yeah.
After they say their hellos and they're like, oh, we're sorry we were gone for so long. There was a lot of red tape and paperwork and blah, 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 blah. Ollie just fucking blurts it out. He's like, Becca and I are in love. And we have been for 2 weeks. Or whatever.
You know what? I'm getting back in the helicopter.
Yeah. Oh, no. He said, we fell in love while you were gone, which was my favorite way of phrasing that. We fell in love while you were gone, because that could be 2 weeks or it could be 7 minutes.
I went to get a sandwich.
and we fell in love.
And because we're in a book, I did that thing you see in TV shows where I opened the refrigerator and there's a fully made sandwich on a plate.
Just waiting in the fridge.
Just waiting.
The most gorgeous sandwich you've ever seen. The lettuce is all perfectly like lacy on the edges, and the tomatoes look delicious, even though I don't like tomatoes. Movie tomatoes look delicious. Yeah.
They're
been food styled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Angels wept.
Special Dijon mustard on it and everything. And it's been waiting in the fridge. No, so it's been 2 weeks. They have fallen in love. Ollie just says that. Just, Kevin, sir, Dad.
I'm in love with your daughter, Dad.
I know you wanted me to call you Dad.
You were very clear about that. You also said, please don't have sex with my daughter and definitely don't fall in love with her.
Yeah.
But...
So anyway, this all goes surprisingly well. And it all... Well, see, it all hinges on one simple fact. These are adults who just met a couple of weeks ago, and before that, they had no relationship to each other. So the fact that they are step siblings means nothing.
That's fair.
Means nothing. Ollie is literally like, what if I met Becca first and then you met Deborah? Would you not be with, like, Deborah seems to be the love of your life. Speaking of, he actually called Deborah the love of Kevin's life, and Kevin agreed. Like, he didn't have a fucking wife before her for like 20 something years.
She was my practice wife.
And the mother of his child. And he's just like, Deborah. Anyway, so yeah, Ollie's like, what if I met Becca first? Would you not fall in love with Deborah if I met Becca first? No, absolutely not. Scratch that, reverse it. It's the same thing. There's no stakes here. These people could be strangers.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter, but it's the closest to taboo we can get. Anyway, so Kevin is like, I need a whiskey. Deborah's like, make it a double. And they both go off and they have a drink and they think about the fact that their kids are fucking and they're also fucking and everybody in this house is fucking. And that's the end of the book. Like, it all just works out perfectly well for everyone.
Does it?
It does, because there is an epilogue, and 2 years later, Ollie's watching Becca walk down the aisle toward him on the beach in the Hamptons where they first met, and they all lived happily fucking ever after. That's it. That's the end of the book. That's it.
But so are they?
What questions do you have? I can answer them for you.
I don't know if you can.
I can,
because I need to know. Does that now make Deborah Becca's mother-in-law? Like,
yes.
Does that supersede that?
No.
I mean,
She's both.
It's my stepmother-in-law.
Stepmother-in-law. This is my
stepfather-in-law.
stepmother-in-law, Deborah, and my stepfather-in-law, Kevin. They're married. We're married. Why are you asking questions?
This is my dad, Kevin.
We have so much money that no one cares what we do.
No one will say anything about it.
No one will say jack shit. We are hot and rich, okay?
We will say nothing. There's actually, if you're lucky enough to not know who David Zaslav is, he's like the big CEO of Warner Brothers. All of the fuckery that's going on with Warner Brothers right now, and the movie, the Batgirl movie, they got shelved for tax purposes. Like, he's behind all of it. There was recently a GQ profile written about him by a writer named Jason Bailey. And apparently somebody in David Zaslav's camp got wind of it because GQ immediately changed some of the language in it because it was rather unflattering.
Oh no, we unflattered the billionaire.
And Jason Bailey was like, take my fucking name off of that byline. That's how rich these people are.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, these are our kids. We got married and then they fucked and fell in love. Say some shit about it.
Right?
I dare you.
I dare you.
I fucking dare you.
Yeah.
You see that?
I own a helicopter.
Yeah.
What are you going to do to me?
You see that building over there?
It's mine.
It's mine. You know what's in it? Money.
It's just a big pile.
It's just fucking money.
I dive in it like Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah. It's a Scrooge McDuckian vault. I had it all turned into bullion. And that's not even a fraction of my wealth.
Yeah.
Say some shit about my weird stepkid fuckers. I fucking dare you.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the book. That's Stepbrother Summer. Book 3 or 4 in the Flirty Dirty Summer collection.
Now, if anybody,
including other such titles as Waxing His Board.
Now, do I need to read the first 3 to really understand Stepbrother Summer?
No, not at all.
I don't want to feel like I'm missing something.
No, you're not, because that's not what this book is for, and that's fine. I still enjoyed reading this book.
I enjoyed listening to it.
I'm taking the piss out of it because I know it's goofy as shit, but I like these books very much.
Absolutely.
Nobody get me wrong here.
This is what we were talking about the other night when we were outside, which is you match we try to match the tone of the book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or what we at least assume to be the tone of the book. Lady of Rooksgrave Manor was weird, monster fucky,
fucking wild, monster fucking. Yeah.
But then A Soul to Keep.
Yeah.
that obviously had a little more gravity to it and more emotional depth.
Yeah.
But again, at the same time, because of the emotional depth of that book, this is still sillier than the idea of a human woman fucking a 7-foot tall Duskwalker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I completely understand. No, there's a deep emotional stuff happening in the Duskwalker Bride series. Every one of them deals with trauma, emotional responsibility. Yes, they fall in love, but this is goofy as fuck. This is way goofier than a monster fucker book could ever be. And I've read some weird monster fuckers, but my name's Becca. I'm hot and rich. This is my stepbrother Ollie. He's hot and rich. We fell in love. We're going to fuck now. I'm going to take the piss out of that a little bit. And you know what? That's okay.
Absolutely.
Are you taking a selfie right now?
No, I'm not taking a selfie. I wanted to double check to make sure that I did, in fact, get the name of that writer correct.
Oh.
It is Jason Bailey. But I just found an article. Is it plot thickens on missing David Zaslav profile in GQ? Turns out the magazine's editor is producing a movie for Warner Brothers. Oh, no.
Journalistic integrity who? That's fucking fantastic, man.
That's what I don't.
Rich people.
I don't take selfies very often unless I'm wearing bunny ears.
That's why I was confused. Yeah.
For a joke, or one of my children is in it.
Yeah. That's why I was confused.
Yeah.
I was like, why are you taking a selfie right now? That's the kind of thing I would do. Put a pair of headphones and a mic on me, and I will take a selfie. Like every time I stage managed a show back in college, I was like, ooh, I look so hot right now in my fancy headset. I'm taking a selfie. No.
I mean,
I was hot.
Yeah.
But not because I was wearing the silly headset.
No.
It just made me feel powerful.
You didn't need the headset. The hotness was inside you all along.
It's not really inside. It's outside. The inside of me is a horror show.
Yeah.
Full with like blood and organs and bones and stuff.
Yep. And meat.
I am a walking haunted house. I have a skeleton and everything.
Yep. It's just a bunch of meat stuff hanging on a skeleton.
Meat stuff.
You can find us on social media. We are on Instagram and TikTok at Cheap Smut. If you want to send us an email, you can do so, cheapsmutpod@gmail.com. We are on all the major podcasting platforms. Once you get there and find us, please rate, review, and subscribe. That is how other people get to find the show, and we get to continue to grow this community. The music that you hear in this and every episode is Nostalgia by Mackay Beats. You can find that song along with thousands of other songs free of charge for you to use however you want. freemusicarchive.org. Do you know what you're going to read next week?
I have no idea. I'm so sorry. I didn't even check my wish list.
No.
So it'll be a surprise for everybody.
You've been getting ready to go up north.
That I have.
It's fine. I totally understand.
I've been doing my normal domestic duties, not reading so much this week. But
we're recording this a day early.
We are, because we're going up a day on Friday.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you're going up on Friday. I'm going up on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then I got to come back Sunday to edit this thing.
Yes. Thankfully, it'll be a pretty easy edit.
Oh, yeah. It's not even... Yeah, we're not... I mean, I'm going to tighten it up a little bit, but we haven't even hit the hour mark on the record.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. Anyway, listener, if there is a book in you, write it. And if there's fucking in it, no matter who's doing the fucking, I'll read it.
That's so true. And then she will come on this show and explain it to me for your entertainment.
Now, I'm going to go... I'm very warm.
Me too.
Let's go outside.
Yes, let's.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.